If we lived in a matriarchal society that was run by women, what would the man's role become?
The hard workers, and we'd be the bitches at home.
Isn't that exactly what we have right now?
Yeah, you're right.
So why would a matriarchy be any better than a patriarchy if that's exactly what we have right now?
Okay, sorry, I contradicted your question. Too many tequila shots.
I feel like the opposite would literally happen. Women would end up, bringing in all the bread, working all the time, and then it would be the men that were at home taking care of the kids, cooking, cleaning.
But do you think women want to do all those dangerous, dirty jobs that are typically done by men?
No, I can absolutely say they will not.
So then wouldn't the man's role pretty much stay the same as doing all the hard labor jobs?
Honestly, yeah, and then it would just add fuel to the fire because it'd be as a man. Not only do they have to go, do all the working and stuff, they also have a wife that's at home, not taking care of the children, not cooking, not cleaning. So then at that point, it's just like, why do you even have a wife?
Women can't feign ignorance. You just have to ask them the right questions. Why marry in the first place? Even a woman knows it's stupid to marry at this time. She described the state of America in a few seconds. Men do all the work, yet women still don't do their own responsibilities. She's right. Why marry when your wife will become a burden instead of a helping hand? I've seen a lot of feminists say that because we are in a patriarchal society, women feel oppressed. Well, since the dawn of time, the patriarchy has put food in the belly, clothes on the back, shoes on the feet, and a roof over the heads of women. The patriarchy built cities, nations, and religions, and every single bit of real technology, as well as every bit of real science. Women are not, and never have been, oppressed. That is a lie. Feminism is a manufactured weapon to blackmail men and society into giving women even more privilege. Feminism at best distorts history to justify its demands, and at worst, uses outright dishonesty. The entire notion of equality can only be contemplated now. Life is really very easy and safe now. It's still evident in almost all poor societies and communities where the primary objective is to survive on a daily basis. People who have little or no access to money have to find ways to survive each day. If we all had to spend 70% of our time each day just on finding food to eat to survive, the idea of equality has no meaning. Men have suffered and continue to suffer far more than women. It is men who have made the world as safe and easy as it is for women to imagine the idea of playing at being equal to men. Out of every 100 people killed in the world today, 80 are men. Men are 10 to 15 times more likely to be victims of violence. This number might have been much higher in the past. Women are, of course, utterly selfish, megalomaniacs who are incapable of even acknowledging just how much men have suffered for all that men have created and invented to get us where we are now. Throughout history, women needed men to protect them. Men have sacrificed their lives to protect women and children. Even the toughest feminazi faced with physical danger will look to a man to protect her. This most basic weakness in women to defend themselves is what feminism wants to eliminate through controlling men. Limiting men by forcing men to give up their natural advantages, and through guilt, tripping men. Men will make something happen, then women will come along and say, "I want to be the boss," without having any hand in the creation or establishment of an enterprise. Let's look at the entire myth of patriarchy, particularly as defined by feminism. As far as feminism is concerned, men had a conspiracy going where they all sat around the fire and decided not only to exclude women, but to oppress and enslave women. It all comes down to sex. Women have gained sexual freedom since the invention of the pill, by men. Without effective birth control methods, sexual freedom for women was quite simply not only unthinkable, but also wholly impractical. Rape was a fact of life, not as it is now. I mean, there are almost 500,000 reported rapes in the United States every year. It is claimed that 1 in every 6 women has or will be raped in their lifetime in the States. Yet around 1,300 men are imprisoned for all sexual offenses. If the numbers of rapes are to be believed, then 500,000 men should be imprisoned each year for rape. And of course, 1 in every 6 men in the States is a rapist. The entire rape narrative has been hijacked by feminism to use as leverage through the sadistic use of the emotive gut repulsion of rape. The fake numbers and the creation of the non-existent so-called rape culture are utterly devious and cruel. Let's turn the clock back, say 10,000 years. Faced with death or being raped, women would choose rape, particularly if the rape did not involve violence. Men simply had one choice: death. Men were of course enslaved in their millions. Men were more productive slaves. Men were tortured in the most horrific ways imaginable. We don't need to go back in time. Let's look at how the West unleashed its vindictive and evil on the Arab world after 9/11. It had no merit to invade Afghanistan and Iraq, had no merit to destabilize the entire region and slaughter hundreds of thousands or mostly men. Thousands of men have been held captive in Guantanamo Bay for over 20 years. How do the Americans know these men pose a threat to anyone? It is simply an exercise in power. The torture of thousands of men during the height of the invasion from 2003 to 2005 was systematic and deliberate, waterboarding thousands of men. And every other form of inhumane torture of mostly innocent men was carried out with impunity by the United States and its allies. It's easy for the people of the West to justify their barbaric actions. Had the US and its allies not used absolute lies to invade and create a fictitious war, not a single man they have killed would have left their country to commit acts of terrorism. The point is, with all the so-called human rights regulations in place to protect us from the worst kind of brutality, they made no difference when it came to the West, murdering hundreds of thousands of men in the Middle East since 9/11. The irony is, Osama bin Laden was the creation of the CIA. The point is that men have always suffered more, so much more. Can anyone cite an example at any time in human history where women were subjected to this kind of brutality and destruction? There never has been a time in human history when women were targets for mass killings and mass enslavement. It just never happened. So where does feminism get the idea that women have been oppressed by men? Women, due to their sexual value, posed an actual threat to society, even today. 7 to 12% of children are being brought up by men who are not their biological fathers without their knowledge. The primary engine was to protect women and then to protect social order. The chaos that would have been caused by infidelity and rape, where women faced danger, needed to be kept in check. Humanity simply did not evolve in technology, and more importantly, social support infrastructure, to be out there and fuck around as they are now. The entire basis for the patriarchy was to protect women, not to oppress them. Women had almost no responsibility for the protection, and of course, the provision. To keep women safe, some of the side effects were restrictive to women. But it was not a systematic conspiracy by men to exclude women. It is not just the suffering men endured throughout human history, simply due to class divisions. Men were the wall between the dangers of the world and women. Women keep saying that men hold women back. Funny how Cleopatra could be the Queen of Egypt, even though her claim to fame is having fucked Caesar and Mark Antony, and of course, had her sister killed. Funny also how women behave just as brutally as men do when given power. Feminism totally ignores how human societies have evolved throughout human history, how and why they can claim and demand equality now. Men have been violent, men have been destructive, men have been utterly vile. But at the same time, men have also created a world as safe and easy as it is today, so that women can even imagine the idea of playing equal. The assumption that women could and would have created a better world had they had equality until now is a joke. Just about every human community lived in a tribe with constant feuds and wars. It could not have been any other way. In that seriously frightening state of life, women were utterly useless. Men died to protect women always. How on earth do women have the nasty state of mind to blame men as they do for everything? Without men having made the world as it is today, humanity would either be extinct or still be living in caves. Oppression is used to gaslight. If you take a step back and look objectively, you'll see that men take the responsibility to keep women out of their egos, the opposite of feminism. Seriously, they are raped today by feminists stealing their hearts for their own power trip. Once you remove the heart of a woman, her core value, what do you have? A loveless human and society. It has historically been a man's job to provide and protect the hearts of women. Feminism has convinced the naive that they are here to help. Women are driven to hell and will not come back under their guidance. Hegemonic masculinity is the core of a successful society. Failure at the core, you'll find feminism. Worse than all natural and unnatural disasters combined. In a few short generations, they have systematically removed the family, love, heart, and relationship from humanity. Ancient civilizations evolved the feminine in the heart of women, not replace it. Only because men and women seek love, a woman must have a heart as the source of love, and a man is the head and in charge. Women cannot be happy until they have a man in charge of them. Anyway, that's all for today on Manhood. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe buttons, and also click on the notification bell to be the first to know when I drop a new video. If you find value in my videos, you can show your support through PayPal or Cash App. The links are in the description. See you next time. Cheers.